welcome. I'm going to try to get through three pretty quick points if I can. As you know, there's a lot of concerns on this side of the dais on this Title II debate.
Yes, sir.
And the basic premise is, how do you build out? We want more, not less. Does a regulated monopoly incentivize more build out, more pipelines, or does a competitive, capital-intensive, incentivized, market-driven process? I believe the second. So that's we've gone from copper to cable, coaxial cable, satellite, cellular, fiber, a lot of different ways for data to now flow. And we want to encourage that. And I kind of like the idea of incentivizing people who want to use more, making them pay more, to incentivize those who carry. Someone may want to build out more. So that's kind of where I come from. My position is more pipes, not less. More pipes, not a regulated pipe. Competitive markets versus controlled markets. So, because here's an example of that. On May 16th, the Wireline Competition Bureau released a public notice seeking comment on state regulation of dial-up internet traffic. Dial-up. I mean, it's a dinosaur. It's hardly used. So there is no, you want to talk about uncertainty for the state and for the providers when we're still in this process more than 15 years after the FCC first discussed the treatment of dial-up. We're now to this process. So that's just kind of a statement. That doesn't create certainty. Would you agree?
Well, what we're trying to do, Mr. Shimkus, is to create an environment that assures consumers and those who rely on the internet that there is openness, while at the same point in time encouraging investment.
But let's just go back. I get that, but this is dial-up.
No, well, we still so if we're dealing with the dial-up, I mean that's a different.
Well, it is, but it's not, because it's the whole debate about certainty, and if we actually have a dinosaur application, that why are we even in?
So we still have 40% of our consumers on dial-up telephone lines. One of the challenges that we have is how do we evolve that into an all-IP environment, which would be, an internet-like environment. One of the things that I have said to this committee is that we believe that this IP transition is a crucial part. And how do we make sure
I get it. I'm going to try to make that.
Okay, sorry, sir.
And one deals in both of our sweet spot is kind of the public service, 911,
yes, sir.
The Spectrum Act, called for the creation of the Do Not Call registry and the automatic dialing issue. The commission keeps saying there's not enough money to do this. I would ask you to check into that. I think there's a lot of money in the FCC. And because obviously this automatic dialing freezes up lines and it's a public safety concern, and I would hope that we would work together to try to, I would take this
look
under
forward
consideration.
To that, sir. Let me get back and I will come see you.
Myself and the ranking member have been better involved in these issues, as you have in the early days also. The last thing I want from rural America is kind of just there seems to be a de facto freeze on this shared service agreement. And this is in the broadcast sector, as you know, the local. When you represent a third of the state of Illinois, as I do now, 33 counties, these shared agreements are now helping to provide, and we've got real-world cases, better local service to the local folks than less. And I guess the basic question in my last minute is what's your plan to ensuring that the FCC action on television transfer application is predictable, consistent, fair, and timely?
So, thank you, Mr. Shimkus. What we have done is to put out a public notice on how we look at transfers. And I consider this to be a procedural reform, because the way it used to be was broadcasters would come together in some kind of a merger situation, and they would come to the commission, which was a black box that had constantly changing. Well, this, we'll look at it this way, we'll look at it that way. And what I wanted to do was to say, okay, what are the things that we will look at so that everybody has notice, everybody understands, and it is not a black box. And that's the process that we have now established to be able to make those kinds of decisions.
Thank you. I know my time's expired. I appreciate it. If you keep me in mind as these things move forward, it'd be helpful.
Yes, sir. Thank you.